Hello, 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 hello. Hello, and welcome to Sunday. Day of rest, apparently. No one told me that. I think I missed out somewhere along the line there. Sundays should be sitting with my feet up, surely, having eaten an enormous roast dinner. That has not happened. Hello, Ness. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Sue again. Yes. Some of you might be pretty fed up with me by now this week. Hello, Heather. It has been quite a lot of lives this week. I promise I won't annoy your Facebook feeds quite this often, normally. Hello, Helen. Hello, Rhiannon. Hello, Cos. Hello, Luna. Lots of lovely people. Hello, hello, hello. A little bit different this afternoon. Got some exciting stuff. Hello, Kate in South Wales. Hello, Kay. Hello, Jay. Cos says, where's Eric? He was here, but I lit some incense. And as soon as I lit the incense, he disappeared into the front room. So you can see his empty chair. He was all snuggled up, and then I lit the incense, and that was it. It was gone. So bless him. Hello, Eva. Oh, scrolling up too fast. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Tess. Hello, Barbara. Heather, never get fed up with your talks. Ah, bless you. Bless you. I'll pay you later. Kate, live feeds are always welcome. Thank you. Hello, Karen. May the force be with you. Afternoon, Penelope. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Christine. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Sue. Just got a couple of G&Ts down your neck. It's hubby's birthday. Happy birthday to hubby. Well, Sue's in for a party this afternoon then. Hello, Sheila. Hi, Lani. I've just felt something at my foot. Hello. Are you coming up here? You coming up here? You hiding from the incense? You gonna come up here? He's so well trained. Look, you can see, can't you? You wanna come up here? Yeah. No, it's not playing ball today. Hello, Lorraine. Wow, lots of lovely people. Hello, hello, hello. So this afternoon's talk, a little bit different, a little bit of a mixture today. I'm going to be talking about flower magic and reading some cards from the Flower Magic Oracle deck. Hello, Gypsy. I've also got a very exciting, well, I'm very excited. Hopefully you'll be excited too. A product reveal from the fabulous Children of Artemis shop, the creators of Witchfest and the Artemis Gathering. Very exciting product reveal. There is a link between that and the flower magic, I promise. And also, at some point during the talk this afternoon, I will be giving away a copy of the Flower Magic Oracle deck. On a whim, as they say. Sue, is it the G&Ts or is the picture fuzzy? I'm guessing it might be your G&Ts, Sue, but as I say, I have had a bit of incense burning, so it might be incense smog as well. But it does smell beautiful in here. So let's have a look and see where we're started. Hello, Peach. You're excited too? Excellent. We like people to be excited, as excited as I am anyway. So let's start with the flower magic. You've probably heard me say this before, if you heard me talk before. I love plants. I love flowers. Kate, what scent? Now I'll let you know about that in a minute, Kate. Eva, it's pixelated too. It's my usual thing, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Probably Facebook being, yeah, I have got the right one on. It's very bad, is it? That's interesting. Let's have a look and make sure. Yep, USB camera. That's the one. How strange. Good old tech, eh? Yeah, let's have a look on that one. Let's see if the other one, I'm going to do a sneak peek here. Is the other one clear as well or worse? No. Don't look, this is all secret. So Picture's fuzzy for Helen too. Oh, we don't need tech problems. Let's say hello to lots of people while we're there. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Ina.
It's not fuzzy now.
Hello. No, oh, is it better now? Let's take
that one's all right too.
Hopefully it was just a blip. Hello, everybody that's just come in. Doesn't look quite as clear. It's cleared. Maybe that's the incense smoke. Excellent. Whew. Don't need technical problems. So let me talk about flower magic. Where was I? Yes, flower magic. I have, hello, Becky. All good here. Excellent. So I work with flower magic a lot. I work with plant magic a lot. Hello, Leslie. I have a small garden, but I pack as much as I possibly can into it. Hello, Melanie. It perhaps doesn't look like how you imagine a witch's garden should or would look. There's not lots of deadly things in it, apart from the snails, if you kind of count them. You're going to sing the whole way through, dog, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And of course, it has a dog in it as well. But I grow things that I love. We grow flowers, we grow plants. We've got some small, tiny trees because it's only a small garden. So I grow things because I love them, not particularly for any other reason than I like the plant, or it works in the garden, or it looks beautiful, or all of the above. However, I am a great believer that everything has magical properties, whether it is a blade of grass to a beautiful, huge dahlia to a tree, and all the others in between have all got that magical properties, those magical powers. Some of them might not be traditional, and you might not find lists of them on the internet or in books, and that's where your intuition comes in and your experience with the plant, because you can work out your own magical properties for them. Look at the plant's color, look at how it grows, look at the type of plant it is. If it's a climber, then they're going to be really good for reaching for your goals. It's up to you to connect with that plant energy and to work out your own magical properties. Hello, Kay says, that's one of the reasons I connected with you, to learn more about flower magic. Excellent. Lani says, Amy says hello. Hello, Amy. Hello, Sally. Deborah loves my garden tours. Yes, it's only small, but if you look on the YouTube channel, I do regular. It's my husband laughing because I've said do. I do. You just can't get the staff these days. There are videos on my YouTube channel with me wandering around the garden. It's all been put to bed now, actually. It's all ready for sleep. Kay has never seen a garden tour. Yes, check out my YouTube channel, Kay. There's lots of them, one every month, pretty much. Hello, Maria. Hello, Xenia. Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Wow, lots of people. Stress, pressure. So I work with the flower magic, and it occurred to me at some point, because we take lots of pictures in our garden, just to keep a record, really, of each year and what's grown and what hasn't grown and what's worked and what hasn't worked, and lots of pictures of the dog. You're going to come up here rather than keep whining. Come on, up here. There we go. So we take lots of pictures. So we realised that we had lots and lots of pictures of flowers, mainly because most of the plants in our garden, other than the herbs, are there really because they flower. So I've had a personal connection with all of them and photographed all of them. And I had all these lovely photos, and I thought, what a brilliant idea, one of those light bulb moments at 3 o'clock in the morning, to turn them into oracle cards so that they would be useful in the oracle card form, but also to share the properties with people, because a lot of the cards in the deck are flowers that perhaps aren't found on lists and in books with their magical properties. I actually did a draw for this week. So the week coming, and I did it before off camera because I'm rubbish at shuffling. Kate has an Eric too. Yeah, we have an Eric. You're good generally, aren't you? Bless him. Joanne, let's I've moved everything out of the way so that I've got some space, and I've lost my mouse. Right. How were specific magical properties given to each plant? Good question. I think a lot of it goes back to the doctrine of medicines and lists that they used to assign the shape of the flower or the shape of the leaf or the color of the plant to a part of your body. So the plant lungwort, for instance, the leaves apparently shaped like lungs, pushing it a little bit. So they would associate that with being a medical remedy for helping with lung problems. It also, a lot of the plant, well, all of the plants have an element assigned to them, and a lot of them have a planet assigned to them as well. And that would be associated with the magical properties of plants. So if a plant was good for communication, then it would be associated with the planet Mars. But yes, it goes back to the doctrine of signatures, that's the right word, where every plant, because of how it looked, basically, would be assigned to a part of the body or a particular thing to help with health. And I think that's where it all started from. Lots of folklore added in along the way, obviously. But that's where it started from. It was from the medicinal side of it, I think. Good morning, Liliana from Colorado. Melanie has started flower pressing. Brilliant. Used to do that when I was a kid. Kate, how wonderful to use your own flowers for cards. Yes, now all of the cards in the deck have pictures of flowers on, unsurprisingly, but all of these photographs come from plants in our garden. So I am familiar with every single plant, with every single flower, and I have worked closely with every single one of them. So when I looked at it, I looked at, if it wasn't on a traditional list, I looked at folklore, because a lot of the plants have folklore attached to them. There's also the Victorian language of flowers. In Victorian times, when you gave a bouquet of flowers, you picked the flowers because of their meaning, and the Victorians associated a meaning with each of their flowers. In fact, if you look in, it's in this one, Kitchen Witch's World of Lights Shining, Kitchen Witch's World of Magical Plants and Herbs, there are lists of all the Victorian plant flower names in there. So a lot of the folklore was derived from that as well. But I look at the colour, I look at the shape, and get the feel for it. You've got to connect with the energy of the plant. The plant itself will tell you what it can happily help you with. It's about connecting with that energy, and they've all got that energy. So I picked one for this week just to do a general reading for the week, and this one is Astilbe. You might be familiar with it, you might not. And the card is Patience. And there's a very, very bored looking woman sitting on the side there. I don't know who the women are on the cards. They were added by the editor. So the plants are all pictures that I've taken. The words and the meanings and the booklet that comes with it, all written by me. So Astilbe is the card for this coming week. Interesting one, this. Very interesting one. And it is all about patience, which particularly in the UK, as we are in a lockdown again, patience is quite a good one. So in the booklet, you have meanings. So you've got the message for each one. So it is patience, little one. Okay, I know sometimes it can be a total pain in the butt, waiting for stuff to happen. But, you know, you're going to have to just sit and wait this time. Put your trust and faith in the universe to deliver what you need when you need it. Just because you want it now, right now, and you aren't getting it, stamping your feet is not going to do you any good. And I'm very well aware that my husband's probably smirking at me from the side of the computer now, because that is so me. In fact, all it will do is increase your stress and anxiety levels and make your impatience so big and out of control, you may just end up doing something really stupid and messing it all up. This is a time to really rein it in and sit on your hands for a while. Seriously, do it. Have a little patience. Good things come to those who wait, and even better things come to those who wait patiently. The booklet, the meanings are written how I speak. There's nothing fancy. It's not Shakespeare. I'm just telling you how it is, basically. But every card in here also has some magic. So hopefully the cards will also help you learn about the magical properties of each one. So a still bee is a really good one if you've got a shady area. They're quite happy to sit in the shadows. So it can help with shadow work. The flowers do look like the beard of a goat. There we go, if you can see that properly. They are a little bit goat beardy. So it also brings the energy of goat, which is balance, courage, respect, curiosity, sacrifice, and I mean emotionally and mentally, not actually chucking a goat on the altar. Please don't do that. And independence. But it also carries, of course, it represents the god Pan, so it carries his energy with it as well. It is quite a nice punch of masculine energy, actually. So that works really well for the magic of it. And each card as well also has a little bit of information from folklore. So the name still comes from the Greek, loosely translated as without brightness. And actually thinking about it, it is the dull colour of the leaves on most of them. They're not shiny green leaves. They're quite a dark green, but not shiny. So that actually makes sense. Folk names include false spirea, does look a little bit like spirea plants, and goat's beard. The plant is happy to sit in the shade, and it also doesn't mind soggy feet. So it grows really well in our garden because we've got clay soils. The seeds are teeny tiny. They look more like a speck of dust. So patience is required even to sow it. So there's quite a lot of patience with this card. So this is your advice for the week ahead. I will do some more pull some cards for people in a minute, but let's have a look at some of the comments. Oh, Sue has a microwave flower press. That sounds interesting. Lani has had this card before, got a bit of a bottom kicking. Yeah, it does that. Hi, Susie. Hi, Max. We live in a culture now where we've forgotten about waiting. Yeah, it's a very instant, I want it now kind of culture, isn't it? Everyone wants a shortcut. No one wants to put the work in. Well, not no one, but, yes, generally. Teresa has the consistent reminder of having patience around me these days, and I suspect others. It is a good reminder that the universe does know what's best. We might know what we want. It's not necessarily what we need. Xenia, very fitting. It is. It is. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, I write. All of my books and the oracle cards are how I speak. You're not going to get anything fancy. I'm going to tell it like it is. Teresa loves the idea of sitting in the shade of the flowers for shadow work. Yes, you can sit with the plant and work with the plant, connect with the plant's energy for shadow work. That would be perfect. You can also dry the flowers or the leaves and use them in magical spell working, spell pouches, witch bottles, crushed up to dress your candles with, to bring that shadow work energy in as well. Kay says that's good. You've got some shady areas. Yes, they don't mind being in the shade at all. It is disposable disposable culture, Kay. Yes, it is. Maria, what card is this? Sorry, it's just a still bee. The light's shining, a still bee, and it means patience. So that's your card for the week. We will come back to the cards in a minute, but I will show you what I would like to show you. So let's get the other screen up. I have here in this little box the brand new product from the Children of Artemis, or better known for Witchfest, I guess. I was chatting to Merlin and Kath, who run Children of Artemis, because I was complimenting them on their incense blends. It was actually the Witch's Circle was the first one that I bought from them, turning it around. I use loose incense a lot, and don't worry if you can't use. Okay, this is a drum roll. Yes, I should have a drum roll, really, shouldn't I? Sitting next to a drummer. Thank you, the drum roll. I use loose incense a lot, but I'm actually not very good with the smoke. So don't panic if you don't use incense burnt on charcoal, because I have a cunning plan. But I do buy loose incense a lot. I find it's actually really good to using spell working. You can use it as a magic powder. You can use it in witch bottles and in spell pouches. You can crush it up and use it to dress candles with. Tess says she misses Merlin and Kath. Hope to see them in August. Yep, me too, Tess. I have spoken to Merlin several times in the last few months. They are very, very busy sending orders out. So do support the Children of Artemis online shop. They are lovely people. And Merlin actually makes all of this incense himself by hand. And actually, the little candle I've got here, this isn't an infomercial. I'm not on commission or anything, I promise. I only ever promote products that I've used myself and that I think are worth it. So if I've said that I like it, it's because I have bought it, paid for it, and used it. But they also make votive candles, which smell fantastic and come in these little glass jars, which can be reused. And I know Kath makes those herself. But Merlin mixes all of the incense blends. And I thought, I'll give it a try. I've always bought my incense blends from various places before that we're probably all familiar with. But I opened the jar and I thought, wow, that smells amazing. That does smell amazing. But like a lot of incenses, I thought once you put it on the charcoal, it's not going to smell the same as it does in the jar, but I'll try it anyway. And I had to eat my words because it did and does smell just like it does in the jar when you burn it. So I have several of theirs. The links come up in the comments if you want to have a look at their shop. They do all sorts of things, tools and T-shirts, mugs, jewelry, the candles, candle holders, incense burners. So I've got several of their incenses now. And I've got to be honest, I wouldn't buy it anywhere else now because they do. I've just got their Yule one as well, actually, which really does. It smells like, see, let's smell it. Go on, smell it. What do you mean you haven't got smelly vision on your computer? Rubbish. That smells like mulled wine, basically. It's absolutely brilliant. So this conversation continued, and very, very pleased to say that the Children of Artemis shop is now selling the Flower Magic cards. So if you want Flower Magic cards, your first stop is Children of Artemis shop. Hello, Karen. Tracy, I'll check that out. Yes, please do. Please, please do. Sue never thought of using it in witch bottles. Yes, loose incense to me, it's just ready-made sachet powder. So I use it in all kinds of spell making as well. But anyway, I was talking to Merlin and he said, well, as we've got the Flower Magic, and I said, oh, would you make me some incense? So here is Flower Magic incense. Ta-da! Come on, round of applause. And Kath, hello, Kath. Kath, I've just been promoting your candles. So that you've just come at the right time, Kath. I'm just showing them the Flower Magic incense. Now, I was very excited. Merlin designed this to inspired by the Flower Magic Oracle cards. But it is amazing. And I have to say, I was genuinely blown away when he sent me the little sample jar to smell. The first thing I saw was how amazing it looks. It does not look like any other incense I've ever seen. So I don't know if you can see particularly well there. It's not particularly good on the camera there, but it is beautiful. It is like little crystals of jewels, or makes me think about walking on a beach, actually, with all the little tiny bits of shells and stones and things. But it is actually beautiful. Shiny, sparkly, beautiful. Kath says she was quality control. Does that help? Oh, absolutely, Kath. Absolutely. But the other thing that I noticed, and the more important thing, obviously, when I took the lid off the jar, the smell is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because it was the Oracle cards that it was inspired by. It smells amazing. It is like a flower garden. And it's got a bit of kind of marshmallowy scent to it as well, if that makes sense. And again, I popped it on the incense, on the charcoal disc, and it smells exactly like it does in the jar. It is amazing, and I couldn't be more chuffed to bits with it. It really does smell amazing. And when I spoke to Merlin afterwards, he said he wanted to make something that was completely different to any other incense. So I am chuffed to bits and very, very honoured with it. But I will show you what I do with it. Because I'm not very good with smoke, I actually use an oil burner, and I've got quite a fancy one here. This is this is Merlin, actually. my wizard oil burner. Let me put that here. So I've got him, but you can use just your ordinary. Well, you can see from the top of it that I've been using it. Just an ordinary oil burner is absolutely fine. You've got your tea light underneath. Your tea light underneath, which you light. She says, with a match. Let's light that from there. Trying not to set fire to myself or burn the hairs off the back of my hand. So I light the tea light. And then the little dish on the top that you normally have your oil in, I've got a little bit of sand in. Although it was suggested the other day that you could put salt in there as well, which is a brilliant idea, because sometimes sand is a bit difficult to get hold of because it needs to be quite fine sand. So I've got the sand in the top there, and then I add the incense, the loose incense on the top. So just a sprinkling of that. Oh, that smells so good. I cannot tell you how good it smells. I'll just waft it your way. Hang on. Waft, waft. Did you get that? So I put it on the top of there, and it does melt. Here we go. Kath says, for most resin-strong incense, it works very well as they melt. If your incense is mostly herbal, your best choice is the charcoal. Absolutely. But I can tell you that this is 90% resin. So it melts. And the aroma that comes off of it, I think, is actually better than actually burning it on charcoal, because you get the true scent from it. And because their mixes are such high quality, they all seem to be quite heavily on the resin side, because they're not bulked out with cheap herbs. But it smells amazing just sitting there. It smells amazing just with the jar open. So I just pop it on top of the oil burner, and it does. It smells, and it goes on for ages as well. Because of course, incense. If you were eagle-eyed and from the start, you will see I had some burning behind me on the charcoal, and it is gone within a couple of minutes really. This goes on for ages, so it's absolutely brilliant if you want to use it, particularly at home, to make your home smell nice, because it goes on for ages. So this one is Flower Magic. Obviously, it'd be brilliant if you bought the cards and the Flower Magic incense from the Children of Artemis shop, but you can buy this on its own, and I think it'd be good for all sorts of things. Good for divination. Good for any kind of psychic work, but I also think it'd be brilliant for fairy magic. If you're doing any fairy magic, they would love the smell of this. But I also think happiness and uplifting, absolutely brilliant for an all-round feel-good stuff. Definitely. Yeah, Kath says hopefully smelly internet will be coming soon. Yeah. Could you have the name of both the I have a look at the Children of Artemis shop. I've got here just a couple of their ones, which are Yule, which does smell like mulled wine. It's lovely. And the Witch's Circle, which I use whenever I'm doing any ritual or magic work, because it does smell amazing. But these ones are such high quality ingredients. And there's the Witch's Circle, I'm struggling to actually see. I don't think there's any herbals in there at all. So it's going to work for ages and ages. Really, really high quality. I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't think it was good. So Leslie, that was Witch's Circle and the Yule incense that I've got, but they've got lots of them, lots of different ones. So do give them a time. Sue asks when it's going to be on sale in the shop. That would be down to Kath. Hopefully Kath can answer that. Kate says, can the salt be used for resin and herbal base? On the bottom, all that the sand or the salt does on the bottom is protect the incense from sticking to the glass or to the base of your, because if you don't use enough of it, that happens. And all your incense and resin melts to the bottom of your oil burner. So the sand or the salt is there as a protective barrier. So when all the resins have finished melting and it's finished smelling, you literally just tip it out, and where the sand or the salt is underneath it, it tips out, and you don't have to spend ages trying to chip it off of the oil burner. So it works really, really well, particularly for anyone that's not very good with incense smoke. But it does smell amazing. Luna says she was looking for an alternative to shop bought incense because they've got so many chemicals in them. Yeah, these are, I tell you, the quality of the ingredients in the Children of Artemis ones is amazing. No nasty chemicals in there. A lovely smelling flower garden is one of the things I miss this time of the year, says Kay. Yep. Well, there's your flower garden in a jar, Kay. And also, price is pretty decent too. And Kath says, we don't use a lot of herbs because it's too smoky and your incense would smell mostly like burning tea. But it does, doesn't it? I think so often I've bought loose incense and it's full of dried herbs and they burn up so quickly as well. The resin is brilliant. Oh, Maria says she's used earth before. Yes, soil would do the same thing as well. Helen asked if the salt would not melt. I haven't tried the salt method, Helen. Sue suggested that one to me, so I'm assuming that it doesn't. The sand definitely doesn't. It just performs a bit of a protective barrier. I could see it all starting to melt now, and it looks beautiful. It's all sparkly. It's lovely. Karen feels a gift for her newly created garden coming on. Definitely. It is a way of bringing the garden inside during the winter. So I can't tell you how impressed I am. The light is dreadful. Flower Magic loose incense from the Children of Artemis shop. Definitely have a look, even if you aren't taken with the Flower Magic one, and you should be because it's beautiful. Not only is it brilliant at smelling, it looks beautiful as well. In fact, it would look really nice on an altar just made into sigils. It would work. It would work so well for sigils because it's so pretty. It has got a couple of little flowery bits in it as well. I can see rose petals and I can see lavender in as well. But it's beautiful. So Cass says salt with charcoal will solidify under it, but if no dry soil or sand at hand, it works. Haven't tried it in a burner. I don't use charcoal. There's no charcoal in here. I've literally just got a layer of sand and then the incense sprinkled on the top, because no charcoal, just sand and then the incense so that it melts rather than burns. That's it, and it smells amazing. So I'm going to leave it on because it smells so nice. And I use that because I'm really not good with incense smoke. I would be coughing my head off if I had it on now with all the smoke. But that is fine. That I'm absolutely fine. Kath says it will be available to be purchased on its own later today. There you go. There you go. So, and, buy it because it's amazing, but buy it because you're supporting the Children of Artemis. And like a lot of the groups this year, they've struggled because they haven't been able to run any actual events. So have a look at their shop. The service is amazing. These little votive candles, I bought lots for Christmas, and I can say that because I know most of my family aren't watching. And if you buy a set of 4, they come really nice in a little gift wrap thing. So do support the Children of Artemis. But yeah, I cannot tell you how chuffed to bits I am with the incense. Absolutely amazing. And if you want a set of the cards, you can get them from Children of Artemis as well. So let's have a look at some more cards. I'll give them a shuffle. I'm going to actually move that off the screen now so that you can't see how dreadful my shuffling is. So we'll have a bit of a shuffle and see what comes out. We'll see what other cards come out. Giving it a bit of a shuffle. and we'll see what pops out. I am bad at shuffling, but when I'm doing this, I just wait and see what card jumps out or drops out. Debbie says, that looks really cool. I bought loads of charcoal discs, but can't use them because they set the fire sensors off. Yeah. Yes. Charcoal it's smoke detectors, isn't it? Charcoal loves to set them off. You won't get that with putting it in the oil burner because charcoal's not involved and smoke's not involved. Cass says, thank you, Merlin. Will enjoy your review. He takes ages working on each blend to make sure he gets it right. That shows, Kath. It really does show. I am absolutely stoked with it. It is seriously the best incense, loose incense I've ever had. So Kate says her partner used to work at a casino, so he's great at shuffling and makes you feel inadequate. Yeah, I am absolutely rubbish. I really am. Sylvia, thank you. The deck looks really nice and so special with the flowers. It is personal to me because the photos are all taken from my garden. So I've got a personal connection to them, and I do love working with flowers and plants. I think there's such a magic to them, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be anything grand. Even the simplest blade of grass or a daisy or a dandelion, they've all got magical properties. Barbara says, awesome tips, as I have cops and so hate the smoke. Yeah, I know a lot of people really do struggle with the smoke. It is, particularly if you've got asthma or things like that, or smoke alarms. COPD, Barbara, thank you. I knew you meant something like that. So yeah, I always use the oil burner for it, and it smells like it's filling the room now. It's lovely, and it will go on for ages, much longer than burning it on incense. So, here's one. Right, let's have a look. So this one is Hypericum. You might recognize the same as the St. John's wort, although this one isn't actually a St. John's wort. It's part of the same genus. This is Hypericum. So this one's all about rejuvenate. And there's a fun lady on there doing what looks like a bit of belly dancing. But the Hypericum is all about rejuvenation. So let's have a little look. Hypericum is actually quite a large family, and only one of the plants is the St. John's wort that's actually used for the medicine that helps with depression. The one we've got has got smaller flowers. So Hypericum message. Donna says, what deck are you using? It is the Flower Magic Oracle deck, one of my own. Luna says Rachel's good at spending her money. I'm good at spending other people's money, Luna. I like to suggest things. Seriously, if I only ever mention products if I bought them myself, i.e. not been sent them as freebies to promote. I prefer to pay money for them, buy them myself, and then suggest them if I've used them. If I buy something I don't like it, then you won't hear about it. So I only ever suggest buying things if they're tried and tested by me. Rhiannon is sat in a fog in her living room of Sanunos and Pan. Smells amazing, but more foggy in my cottage than outside. Yeah, that does tend to do that, doesn't it, with the smoke from it. So let's have a look at Hypericum, which is, if things have been a bit difficult lately, seriously, if things have been a bit difficult lately, there's an underestimation. This card indicates light at the end of the tunnel. You will get there. We will get there. We'll all get there. We're all in this together. We might be all in separate boats, but we're all on the same ocean. This is a pick-me-up, a little ray of sunshine. It really is. No matter what you've been through, and no matter how much you think it will continue, it will burn itself out soon. Thank the gods really needs to burn itself out as quickly as possible. The universe is sending some positive energy to bring about some balance and put a smile on your face. You have been through the mill, and life has dealt you some really hard issues to deal with, but you hit every single one of them out of the park and carried on regardless. Go you. Life teaches us lessons, and we can learn from each and every one of them, or at least hopefully take some morsel of inspiration or insight away from it. Because I know from experience that life lessons quite often kick you up the butt and you ignore them. But they will keep kicking you up the butt until you take notice of them. But Hypericum magically, if you hang a piece over your threshold, it will ward against negative energy. It is a sun herb, so it's got all that solar energy packed into it. So it brings the power to dispel the darkness. And it also rules your solar plexus. It was placed in the mouth of an accused witch to help force her to confess to her witchcraft ways, which always makes me laugh. There's so many herbs that were stuffed into a witch's mouth to make her confess to witchcraft. How on earth are you supposed to confess to anything when you've got a load of plants stuffed in your mouth? I have no idea. But I think that in itself lends to the magical properties that it's really good for communication, but also finding out the truth. So it's really good for magical workings for that as well. The yellow petals, when they're crushed, they actually bleed. They bleed a red juice, which is quite bizarre. And as the plants flower in June, it has actually been a reference in folklore to the beheading of St. John the Baptist on the 24th of June. The red juice of Hypericum is sometimes called witch's blood, and it has been used in spells and potions dating back to the ancient Greeks. So there's an awful lot of history behind this one as well. But it is, things are going to get better. It is a pick you up card. But it's also about truth and communication as well, but very, very useful to use in magical workings. I dry the flowers. You can also dry the leaves as well, but very, very useful. Thank you, everyone. Yes, blimey, what a year. Yeah, definitely. But we've got to kind of stick together. You have got to stick together. Rhiannon, trust my judgment on products. Oh, thank you, Rhiannon. I do. Seriously, I do test them first. I don't ever just shout about something. And if someone wants to send me something for free, I actually pay for it because I feel if it's sent for free, then I feel a bit obliged. Teresa never thought Hypericum and St. John's wort were one and the same. They are. St. John's wort is part of the Hypericum family, but there are different species within that. So not all Hypericums are St. John's wort. It is one quite specific one. Tracy lives with her mum who's severe asthma, and my dad hates candle. I'm worrying about a spray. Spray would be absolutely brilliant. Distilled water in a bottle with a few drops of essential oil. Absolutely brilliant for clearing out negative energy if you can't use anything with a flame. Thank you, Leslie, for everything I've recommended. Right, let's get a big list out. Where's my list to Santa? Let me read that out for you. Rhiannon says, blimey, what a year, but we are family. Absolutely, Rhiannon. We've got to stick together to get through this. And yeah, Luna says the second lockdown is hitting people harder. It's got to be done. Let's get through this, but let's get through this together. And if it hadn't been for the world situation, I probably wouldn't be sitting here doing a live with you. So that's the positive to come out of it. Kay says, lessons will send you around that same mountain until you get it. They do. Life lessons will beat you over the head of it until you listen to it. We do need lots of Hypericum for 2020 to get rid of it. Yes, we do. Let's all plant some. Definitely, definitely. Let me pull another one. If anyone's got any questions, I've got a couple of minutes left. Do pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer questions. We've got a lot of lives coming on. If you look on my Pathos blog, there is a gig guide for all of the lives that I'm doing for the rest of the year and replays of some of the ones that I have done already this year. If you've missed a lot of my chats, they are all on my YouTube channel, along with my garden tours. Ask some questions, and before the end of it, I will give away some Flower Magic cards, a deck of Flower Magic cards, to a good question. That'll prompt you. Rhiannon says, if anyone needs support, please feel free to get in touch. Yes, I do. We have the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group, which is a lovely group of people And we're all there to help and support each other. So do please, if you're struggling, give us a shout, because we're all there to help each other. There's all sorts of chats coming up. There's my weekly Friday morning chats. There's Waffling Witches. There's an online Yule ritual. There's all sorts of things. Kate says, do you tend to favour native plants, or do you have any non-native favourites? That's interesting, actually, because a lot of the plants that we have in the UK now were bought in by the Victorians, Edwardians, who like to go and steal plants from various places across the globe. So even ones that we probably recognise now as British plants came from elsewhere. I do recommend using native plants, or locally grown plants is probably the best way to put it, for magic. So particularly if you're making smudge sticks or things to work with your magic, I prefer to use things I've grown in the garden or things that I found while I'm foraging, because I think they'll have a more personal energy to them. I don't want to be ordering exotic, expensive ingredients for magic that have had to come from the other side of the planet. I don't think I'll have such a connection to them, and it costs lots of money, and there's all the eco side of it as well. So particularly if you're in the UK, let's have a look at the good old white sage, because that's always a bit of an argumentative point. I don't use white sage to cleanse. It doesn't grow in the UK happily. It's not native to the UK. And I have garden sage, green garden sage grown in my garden. It does exactly the same job. And I've grown it myself. It's got my energy. It's free. I go out and pick it. I dry it. I burn it. I often add in a bit of lavender or rosemary from my garden as well. And I think particularly when you're smudging, it has to have meaning to you. If you've bought something from the other side of the world that's not part of anything that you do, it's not going to have the same meaning to it. So just my personal thoughts, really. Probably that as a kitchen witch as well. I use whatever I've got to hand. So that's just my thoughts, really. So we do have, all sorts of plants in the garden. Obviously, we have the climate to consider. We can't have tender plants in the garden, although I am in the south of England, so it's not too badly hit by frosts. But yeah, I go for what I like, and I also go for what will grow in the garden, because one half of their garden is quite shady, the other side is in full sun, and it's very heavy clay soil, so that has to come into it as well. But yeah, I grow what I like, so long as it's happy in the garden. Eva says, what's your favourite flower and flower card? We have lots of flowers in the garden. There's all the traditional ones, the roses I love and dahlias I love. I have to say, let's have a look. Love in a Mist are always really nice. They're amazing flowers. They're really unusual. But that's probably one of my favourites. And it is Astrantia. Quite an unusual plant. Another one that likes growing in the shade, actually. Looks a bit like it's come from a Star Trek, 1970s Star Trek set. But that's probably one of my favourite flowers. And I quite like that card as well, because it is about walking the line between the dark and the light. Quite like hollyhocks too, but they don't grow very well in the garden. They always get rust. So I love everything, really. I love, plants, basically. But yeah, that's probably one of my favourite flowers is the Astrantia. But I like everything, really. I like all sorts of things. Difficult to pick, really. Leslie says, what small trees do you have? Have a tiny garden. We have a rowan, actually. We have a rowan, which are really good for small gardens. And also we've got a dwarf stock cherry tree and a dwarf stock salix. Look for dwarf stock. They never grow any taller than when you buy them, because they are grafted onto the top of a small stock trunk that never grows any further. So rowan's very good. But yes, look for anything that's on dwarf stock, because they're really good. Karen said, is the You and Ellen Sentia chat on YouTube? Yes, it is. Every 2 weeks now, myself and fellow Moonbooks author Ellen Sentia are having a Shooting the Wild Witch Breeze chat about all sorts horse of rubbish. We don't have a theme. We just go off and see where it takes us. There are 2 there already. They are both on my YouTube channel. They're also on the Moonbooks Facebook page. So, yep, lots of stuff on the YouTube channel. You could lose yourself in hours for there. Kay, how can you make magic to unite a family despite Lex's influence? It's difficult with family matters because you're involving other people and you're involving the will of other people. I think if you want to bring people together, then honey is actually your best thing to do. If you want to involve plants, then bindweed or ivy are both very good, but be very, very careful because you are binding people together, bringing people together against their own free will. So you've got to be careful how you word it. But yes, not a plant, but I would go for honey. I'd do a honey jar spell for that one. Oh, this is an interesting one. If you would need to choose a card that relates the most to you, which one would that be? So not the plant you like the most, but the plant you most... Actually, that's interesting. My craft name is Tansy Fire Dragon. So I would probably have to say Tansy for that one. Let me read out the meanings to you. That's where my craft name came from, was Tansy. I was at a Celtic reenactment day at a local Roman ruins, and they were baking. Obviously, they were baking puddings, and they were baking Tansy pudding. And I thought, I like that name. That's plants, which I love, and it's baking, which I love, and it's pudding, which I love. So that's where Tansy came with. It is for health, longevity, rebirth, cleansing, protection, and travel. It's a water plant as well, and a feminine one. It is a hardy perennial. It's used a lot in ancient cooking, ancient Celtic cooking. Traditionally used in funeral rites, so it symbolizes death and rebirth and guiding the spirit into the other world, which ties in quite a lot with my matron goddess, the Kalak, as well. The flowers last a long time, so it brings longevity. And it's good for working with the dark goddesses, which ties me into the Kalak as well. So that, I would probably have to say, is the plant that I probably most associate with me, because that's my name. Oh, Cos says, what's Eric's favourite plant? Well, we know what your favourite plant is, don't we? Because you keep going out to the garden and pulling it up. We have several heucheras in our garden. I'm just looking for the card with it. I'll find it in a sec. He keeps digging them up. He doesn't touch any of the other plants. He just digs up the heucheras. I don't know what it is about them. I think perhaps the stems are quite woody and he likes to chew on them. But quite often he will bring the entire plant in with him. So we have to keep an eye on him when he's in the garden. So that's heuchera. That's a flower of one of the heucheras. They're actually brilliant because their foliage is year round and they come in amazing colours, from lime green to oranges to really dark purple colours. So that would be, I would have to say, is Eric's favourite plant. I'm missing lots of these comments. Sorry, let me go back through them. Love in a Mist is beautiful, yes. Luna's going to try and grow some white sage seeds. It's worth a try. They don't like the UK climate very much, but you never know. Melanie asked if I have any houseplants. That's an interesting one, Melanie. They hate me. My husband actually says that houseplants scream as they come in the door. Garden plants, fine. Houseplants, not so much. However, we have had a palm thing in a, no, I'm sure it's just a houseplant palm, which we named Bernard. And he's actually still alive, and we've had him for over a year now. So it might be a sign of turning the times. But generally, I'm not very good with houseplants, no. Cos makes bundles of herbs from those grown in the garden for smudging. Makes sense to connect inside and outside the house too. Definitely, definitely. Ness has a patio apple tree, which doesn't grow too big. Yeah, they're usually grafted onto the dwarf stock, the patio ones. They are very, very good. Kay likes to light her fire pit this time of the year, so dried plants, etc. is good. Excellent. Kate has a hazel. We've got a corylus, which looks like a twisty hazel. It's in a big pot, but it's really a bit too big for the garden. Karen says, I redesigned my garden to include a space earlier. Your books were my go-to, and being able to connect online was a lifeline. As a key worker, it helped me forge a deeper connection in real and virtual life and has kept me going. Flower magic cards and now incense are on my wish list. Oh, big hugs to you, Karen. I have seen pictures of your garden. You have done amazing work on that. Absolutely brilliant. Teresa says, which flowers do you associate with the Kalak or other deities associated with late autumn, winter? Anything that's flowering now. Achillea is quite a good one because that's just coming to the end, but the flowers all dry and they stay dried. Sea holly is another one that I particularly associate with the Kalak because it actually it stays whole. The seed heads stay whole as they dry. So they do look like dead flowers, but they hold themselves, so you don't lose it, basically. Anything really that produces a seed or a seed pod, the trees in particular that are producing seeds now, and berries, anything that's flowering now, I would say. Holly as well, because that's starting to have berries now. Rowan is a really good one as well. But I think you have to do a lot of these associations you could list out and you could read off of books or off of the internet. But I think you have to go with your own intuition on what ones that you associate with them, if that helps. Tess, it was my birthday last week and got some of your books. Yay! Crystal Magic, Witchcraft Interwilds, Crafts of Kitchen Witch and Grimoire Kitchen. Wow! Do you talk about witches' bottles? Yes, I think they are in the grimoire, definitely in the grimoire. But there's also a video on my YouTube channel of how to make witch bottles. So do have a look. I take you through it step by step on the YouTube channel. Eva has dwarf apple trees, 5 varieties on 1 dwarf stock. Yeah, they are really clever. Really, really clever. Susie, just come out of a bad relationship. Is there any way to deal with building yourself up again? Watch my chat Friday morning this coming week. I'm going to be talking about self-esteem from my curative magic book. I'm going to be chatting about how to work some magic to bring about your self-esteem. So watch me Friday morning at 9 a.m. or watch the replay afterwards, Susie, and hopefully we can help you with that. But believe in yourself. You know, takes 2 in these things. So don't ever believe that you're not worthy of anything, because you absolutely are. But hopefully next Friday we'll talk about some things that can help you there. So I've got lots of questions here. Sorry. They've all loads of questions. Right. Would you recommend anything floral that could be used for protection or shielding? Okay, book. Going to this book again. There's a list in the back of different intents. That always sounds like we're going camping. It's a strange word. Oh, protection. There is a whole list of protection. Lots on this side, lots and lots of different. Actually, Kate, if you look at my Pathos Pagan Beneath the Moon blog, there is a blog post on there all about protection herbs and different bits and pieces and foods and things that you can use. Trust your intuition, though, and what you've got in the cupboard. Make yourself a spell pouch to carry with you. Make yourself some hot foot powder to sprinkle around your boundaries. So that's paprika or dried chilies crushed up, black pepper and salt. Mix it together and sprinkle it around your boundaries. But have a look at my Beneath the Moon blog. There is one there on protection herbs. And good old salt is always very good. Really, really good. Sue, what plants would be good to use to cope with feelings of isolation in lockdown? Anything uplifting would be my answer. anything uplifting. And please remember that you guys aren't alone. With the power of internet, we're all here for each other. So never feel that you're alone or not coping. Reach out, because there's lots and lots of people around to help. But definitely anything uplifting. So any of the citrus ones, oranges, lemons, limes, and cardamom as well. Lots of the warming spices. So anything that's got that kind of zing to it, that's uplifting, should help Sue. That's an interesting one. In an emergency evacuation situation, what 3 or maybe more plants would you take with you? If we were being evacuated, I probably wouldn't take any plants at all, because there'd be other more important things. But I get your question. I would have to say cinnamon. It's one of my go-to, and it covers lots of things. So I would take a jar of cinnamon, and rosemary, because rosemary is always a really good all-rounder. And probably sage or thyme. The more common kitchen ones would be the ones that I would take with me, because you can add them to food, so you can ingest the properties, and you can also work magic with them. So it would be the sort of traditional, not boring, but just the usual kitchen ones. Ness says they don't root very far, do they? I'm assuming you mean the dwarf rootstock ones. No, I don't believe they do. They grow very well in pots. So yes, if you've got a small garden, definitely look for dwarf rootstock. Donna says, what's the differences between the different sages? Magically, not a lot. Sage is a sage, and they're all going to carry the basic magical properties. There are all sorts of different ones. You're squeaking a lot, aren't you? So we grew some pineapple sage last year, which was brilliant, because anything that's got that extra cross added in with it. So pineapple sage would have the qualities of sage, but you'd also bring in the qualities of pineapple as well. But sage as a basic, right through garden sage, white sage, all of them have the basic magical properties of protection and clearing negative energy are the basis ones. But any other than that, it's all you'll add to it with all the different ones. Anybody looking at the links that are being posted, they won't actually work until the live chat is over, and then they will work. It's a Facebook thing. Sue's mum is known as a houseplant killer. Yeah, you know. Bernard's Rhiannon's dad's name. Yeah, that's their pot plant. Ness is asking me how the aloe vera is. A friend of ours gave Ness and I an aloe vera each. It is still alive, but that was only a month ago. So, and it is a desert plant, so it is surviving at the moment. Melanie says nobody can kill aloe. Trust me, I can. Trust me, I honestly can. Kate has grown lots of flowers that haven't managed to do before this year due to lockdown. I think everyone's discovered their gardens or gardening more, or for the first time, and it's been a sanctuary. It really has during these awkward times. Jackie's just ordered the incense. Yay! Witch bottles are brilliant. Lani says witch bottles are brilliant. Yep, over on my YouTube channel, there's a whole how-to on witch bottles. Kate loves her holly, have 3 growing in random places. We have a holly, but it was grown from, I'm sure it was grown from bird poop, actually, because we found a little seedling growing in the garden. It's quite big now, but I'm assuming that's, where it came from. Teresa says sea holly also looks a bit prickly, and I imagine the Kalak as being a bit prickly at times. Yes, she does have the connection to the ocean, so sea holly works for her, but yes, she can be a little prickly. Christine says, my sweet peas are still blooming in the northeast of England. We have roses and pelargoniums and osteospermums still flowering in the garden at the moment, which is mad, absolutely mad. So it will depend on where you live as well as to what you grow. And there's so many questions here, and I'm losing them all. Stormy is in the desert, so it's hard to grow plants, I would imagine. When I know you keep asking me about the cat, but I don't have cats, so I'm not actually going to be very good on advice for that. So I would Google and see what you can do, the best things to do, leaving out food and that kind of things. Jackie's asking about the best flower protection. Do have a look on the Pathos Pagan Beneath the Moon website, because there's a whole heap load of plants that are really good for protection. Kate was given holly sprigs by her grandfather. Fantastic. Sylvia loves the book. Yes, thank you. This is, you can see I've got all post-it notes in it. Now Gypsy's suggesting pink roses are the highest vibrational flower to work with for protection. You can visualize them surrounding you and a splash with rose water. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Kath, what would be good for grief? My mum's anniversary's coming up this week and I tend to drop a bit. Now Kath, poppies. This time of the year as well, poppy is absolutely on the mark for grief and remembrance. So poppy would be one of my go-to. Poppy seeds, just add them to your magic to help alleviate grief. I'm just looking if there's anything else here. Cypress, marjoram, poppy and witch hazel, all really, really good for coping with grief, Kathy, and a big old hug to you as well. I've just reminded Kath to buy more cinnamon. Yeah, it is one of my go-to. Kay, can Eric hear any more fireworks? No, he's whining because I'm not giving him any attention. He is an absolute diva. That's the only reason that he is whining. It's because he's a diva. Donna, what books do you recommend for the beginner? Well, really embarrassingly, I do have to recommend my own books. I hate doing it because it is embarrassing, but all of my books would be very good for beginners. So have a look on my website and that'll give you a good start. If you want to look at all the different pathways within paganism, then have a look at the Moon Books Pagan Portals range, written by lots and lots of different authors, but all different pathways to give you a bit of a dip your toe in the water, so to speak. Rhiannon asks what I do to aloe to kill it. I either overwater it or underwater it, I think, Rhiannon. Yeah, Eric is talking. Kate says Eric's talking. Yours is vocal too. I think it might be a Daxon thing, yeah. He's not poor Eric, he's just after attention. Sue has a passion flower still in flower. Yeah, I think we've lost the seasons to a certain extent. Gypsy found wild raspberries on a hike today. Fantastic. There's a suggestion about the missing cat. Melanie says leave out the cat litter so they can smell it. Lots of questions. You guys are fantastic. Right. Brilliant. You guys are so brilliant. So I'm going to just randomly looking for a question to pick using my spidey senses. Melanie Mann, the Flower Magic Oracle deck is yours. If you private message me afterwards with your address, I will drop the Flower Magic Oracle deck in the post to you. So Melanie Mann, the cards are yours. And I think we've kind of really run out of time because we've gone well over an hour. I do occasional Flower Magic card pulls on a Friday morning during my chats. So do have a look out for them if you would like to. Do hop on over to the Children of Artemis. Hello. Do pop on over to the Children of Artemis website and look at all their lovely things on their shop. They have some brilliant stuff. They're all really good prices and it helps support Children of Artemis, particularly this year where they haven't been able to do the festivals. Thank you all so much, you guys. And I have to tell you, this incense is still burning here and still smells amazing. So the tea light candle is still burning away here. I'm not going to touch that because it's going to be very hot. But the incense is all melted into the sand, but it's still giving off the scent. So that's going to burn away for ages. So it also lasts much longer if you put it on there instead of on loose incense. Thank you, Rhiannon. I made your Sunday. Oh, bless you. Thank you. It is. I've done so many lives this week. It's been a bit hectic, but it's always fantastic connecting with you guys. Kath's put up the link for the Children of Artemis shop. It is also further up in the comments. We will make sure it's there as well for people. Stormy's asking about the book. It is A Kitchen Witch's World of Magical Plants and Herbs. It also has a sister book, which is The Kitchen Witch's World of Magical Food, which deals with food ingredients for magic, the same as you would with herbs. Thank you, Xenia. I will give Eric some cuddles. He will have some cuddles this evening. Maria's asking if the sand sticks. No, the incense melts into a lump, but because it's on the sand, it literally just tips out and the incense comes away in just one lump. So it is absolutely brilliant. But yes, do check out the Children of Artemis website, and also lucifer.co.uk for more handmade things as well from the lovely Kath. Definitely worth a look. Yes, I will see you all next Friday. That's my next talk. If you are free, Sue, do enjoy your next G&T. Thank you so much, everyone. If you missed the first half of this, then it will come up on Facebook shortly afterwards. Thank you, Kath, for all of yours and Merlin's help and support as well with the bits and pieces that I've done. You guys are amazing. And if you want to buy a set of the Flower Magic cards, hop on over to the Children of Artemis online shop because they're stocking these as well. So I will see you all next Friday, if not at one of the other things. But remember, you're not alone. I'm always here. If you've got any magical questions you want to ask, please do feel free to message me. If you need a bit of help and support, or just a virtual hug from fellow witches, hop on over to the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group. We're always happy to look after each other. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. You've been absolutely fab. Take care, and I will see you all soon.